Hello, today we are going to walk through applying for relief from Hawaii's Round 2 CARES Act. You'll want to begin by heading over to our website at the Pacific State Marine Fisheries Commission. That web address is going to be www.psmfc.org. Once there, you'll want to click on the CARES Act and navigate to Hawaii section. Prior to applying for relief, we would encourage all applicants to review Hawaii's Round 2 Spend Plan. This document serves as the framework for administering this relief. It goes into detail as to the background of the funding, as well as the methodology used to calculate payments, eligibility, criteria. There are specific information for the various sectors, as well as the allocations for those sectors, and then finally some contact information at the end. Once you've reviewed the spend plan, head over to the application. Unlike the Round 1 application, Round 2 will be entirely electronic. This is to assist applicants. They can ensure that their applications are submitted efficiently, as well as cuts down on the processing time so that we can get relief checks out the door quicker. You'll have two options here. Are you applying as an individual person or business? Along with those are the two different types of trusts. These are revocable, meaning that the trustee is currently alive, or an irrevocable trust, where the trustee is deceased. For purposes of this video, we will apply as an individual person, and I'm going to go ahead and just enter some testing information for purposes of this video. The second page of the application is the self-certifications and assurances, also known as an affidavit. Participants must attest to all of these statements. If you are unable or unwilling to attest to these statements, regrettably, you will not qualify for this relief. We would encourage you to thoroughly read all of the questions to ensure that you are in compliance. For purposes of this video, I will move through them fairly quickly. Page 3 asks which sector you are applying under. Applicants are able to apply for multiple sectors, however, they must do so separately. The revenues that you report for each sector must be independent of that sector and of the particular validating credential used. For example, if you are a charter operation and have multiple vessels, the revenues that you report must be specific to that vessel or those vessels if applying for multiple vessels. If you are a business that has a charter component as well as a non-longline component, you must separate those revenues and you must apply separately. For purposes of this video, I will apply as a commercial longline applicant. The first question, Hawaii longline vessels must have made landings in the state of Hawaii in 2020 and or 2021. If you are a commercial vessel longline operation that made landings on the West Coast, unfortunately, if you did not make landings in Hawaii, you will not qualify. Here, the first question is asking what your limited entry permit number is. We have an example of that information, and I will go ahead and enter some testing information. You are also required to enter the vessel's name. And finally, if the vessel owner is different than the contact information used on page 1 of the application, you would need to enter that here. The next page asks if you received CARES Act relief from the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission in round 1. Those checks were mailed at the end of 2020. You should have received them towards the end of December or early January. If you did receive relief, you must indicate the dates of those claims. Eligibility in round 1 was limited to February 1st through September 30th. Some applicants chose the minimum time frame of 4 consecutive weeks, and some used the entire time frame or any variation of that. For purposes of this video, though, we will indicate that we utilized the entire time frame in 2020. The next question is pertaining to your round 2 claim. Again, round 1 eligibility was limited to February 1st through September 30th. Round 2 will include additional dates of October 1st through December 31st, 2020, as well as January 1st through June 30th, 2021. So per purposes of this video, I will select both. This goes into detail explaining what I have just stated. Again, an important aspect is that your claim must be 4 consecutive weeks. You can also not use the same time frame that you used in your round 1 claim. So for example, if you used February 1st through September 30th, your round 2 claim for 2020 would be limited to October 1st through December 31st. However, had you not utilized that entire time frame, or you had not applied in round 1 or received funding, you could use any variation of the 2020 eligibility. For purposes of this video, though, I will enter the gross revenues earned between October 1st and December 31st in 2020. Let's say we earned $1,000 only. The next series of questions asked if you held your qualifying credential during each of the comparison years. This would be the Hawaii Longline Limited Entry Permit in this example, being we are applying as a commercial longline applicant. So for purposes of this video, we will select yes to all of these years of comparison. Now again, we are only reporting eligible gross revenues between October 1st and December 31st in each of the applicable comparison years. Simply entering some random revenues here. Now, let's say you held a permit in calendar year 2015. Again, any time during the calendar year. However, I did not earn any revenue. You would be required to enter 0 in that scenario. Here you can see that the average gross revenue, the absolute loss, and the relative loss have all been auto-calculated. You are not responsible for making these calculations. We will move on to the 2021 claim. Given 2021 was not available in round 1, all applicants applying in round 2 can use the entire time frame, or at a minimum 4 consecutive weeks, starting on January 1st and ending before or on June 30th, 2021. So for purposes of this video, we will indicate that we earned $0 during that time frame. As we did in 2020, we held permits in all of these years. So between January 1st and June 30th, we were reporting our revenues from the prior comparison years. Again, we held a permit in 2015, however, we did not earn any revenue from that. So we would enter 0. You can see that the average, the absolute, and the relative loss have all been auto-calculated once again. Finally, all funds received are taxable from the IRS. Applicants that are applying as an individual or a revocable trust must enter a social security number of the applicant whose name is on this application. If you were a irrevocable trust, meaning that the trustee is deceased, we would need to have an EIN, or employee identification number. To enter that, you would need to back to the original page of the application and select business or irrevocable trust. But for purposes of this video, we will indicate that we are an individual still, and we will enter our social security number of the individual listed on the first page of the application. Finally, we will sign our application stating that the information that we have provided is, to the best of our knowledge, accurate and true, and that we are eligible to receive this funding. Once submitted, you will receive a notification here, and that no further action is required. Currently, at the time of this video, we are uncertain when disbursement will occur. There are many factors that will affect that, including the number of applications received and how long it takes to process them. However, we would encourage you to check back on our website for updates regarding relief disbursement. Finally, those wishing to have the option to print their application. This includes all of the information that you have entered. And with that, we thank you for watching this tutorial, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get a hold of us. We can be reached at hicares@psmfc.org, or toll free at 888-595-1538. Thank you.